11 right now, and I'm Air Force Staff Sergeant Isaac Garden. It's a great day to be alive, an even better day to do something nice for someone, so get out there and be a blessing. And speaking of blessings, I have a couple gentlemen in the studio with me right now, and Sergeant Smith from Camp Humphreys, PAO down there, he brought them down. And I have a Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Martin, the 2nd Squadron, 6th Cavalry Regiment Commander, and also CW4 Brent Walsh, this Squadron's Senior Warrant Officer. How you gentlemen doing today?
Aloha. Good afternoon. How are you?
Aloha. I got the Hawaiian greeting. I like it. I like it.
We try to bring a little slice of the island with us over here for you.
I appreciate that. You know, what's Ohana?
It's part of the Ohana. That's the family. Absolutely right. You got the Lightning Horse Ohana.
I know just a little bit. All right, so what are you guys here to talk about today?
Well, we've stopped by today. We're wrapping up our 9-month deployment to Korea. We got about 2.5, 3 weeks left of that deployment, and just coming by to talk about some of the opportunities that we've had here, really where our successes lied, and the soldiers and warrant officers that we have, and share how we've enjoyed our time as part of the Korean family.
Okay, so and you know that comes with accomplishments as well. So what are some of the accomplishments that you guys have done or been involved in since you've been here?
It's been a very busy 9 months. We came over here as a deployable, fully trained and ready unit, and we've maximized the opportunity we have to get out there and continue to increase our readiness by spending time in the field, spending time out supporting the ground forces, numerous gunneries, aviation-type gunnery operations up at MPRC. And, you know, really the thing I'm most proud of is the way the squadron's gone about its business. We've come over as a fully trained unit, and we show that we add to the readiness of the division and the peninsula, and you know, truly serve as that deterrent force that keeps the country safe. You know, armistice is a real deal, and we're able to sustain that by being a combat proven and ready force. And I think the squadron came in and fulfilled that role real well.
That's awesome. So what was the squadron before you guys doing? Were they on the same type mission, or was it slightly different, or you guys fulfilling pretty much the same?
It was slightly different. You know, we're stationed in Hawaii at Wheeler Armory Airfield, so we have a broader Pacific responsibility when we were there. We were focused on we had a contingency mission as a response force during a portion of that time. And really the squadron had just gotten back from Afghanistan rotation just a little bit over about 1.5 years before we deployed here. So as part of that in our Army, our 4-gen cycle is we were fielding people, equipment, and then we go through a train-up cycle so that we were ready to deploy again, and that's what this deployment was. So we were focused at the individual crew level and getting everybody ready to deploy so that we could come over here and assume that mission that we were assigned.
Okay, so you guys are deployed to Korea, correct?
We are. Yep,
Okay.
we came over here.
How does it feel to, you know, and this isn't, of course, the normal operational deployment, right?
Right.
You have pretty much everything that you could possibly want, you know, in the area. So how does that feel, you know, you have the Afghanistan and then you have the Korea. What's the difference?
It is a big difference. You have a lot of the personal freedoms that you don't get when you are deployed to Afghanistan or Iraq. I think that's one of the big differences. The other one is, you know, your life is not on the line every day. You're not actually performing that combat mission. You're trying to prepare for it. So to me as a commander, it was a little bit of both worlds, the best of both worlds. You still have that absolute purpose and mission that you're here to accomplish, but at the same point, you have an unbelievable opportunity to go out and experience a different culture, travel, go see the sights of Korea, immerse yourself in something that you won't find anywhere else in the world but South Korea. So those opportunities that we had is really what benefits the individual soldier and allows them to get out there. You know, multiple deployments between my partner and I here today. What you got over there is you were inside the wire maintaining aircraft, or if you were a pilot, you climbed in there to go do your combat mission, and you didn't really get to experience much of Afghanistan or Iraq other than the view from the air. Right. And that's definitely different than what we got to do here and get out there and enjoy what Korea has to offer.
Absolutely. So, you know, being in the Air Force, we don't have warrant officers, right? I wish we did, because I would do it. You know, absolutely. But you know, I don't really understand like the role of a warrant officer. Can you tell me, you know, what's the role of a warrant officer here in Army aviation?
So traditionally, role of warrant officer is to kind of fill a void of basically a big part of it is pilots. You know, we're expected to be the tactical and technical experts going out there and advise our commanders and set them up for success. There's walking warrant officers and there's aviation warrant officers. The aviation ones, we pretty much filled out the hole I was talking about as far as pilots go. The technical ones are definitely top of their field, smart guys who have been enlisted for quite a while in their roles and then became warrant officers and now are exceeding in that area. The aviation warrant officers, though, in the past have been a little bit more quiet behind the scene kind of guys, and now the relationship's really changing. It's evolving into we're being expected to be more of leaders now. So that's a big thing that we're seeing change for us.
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to get a grasp of it, but I still, I understand exactly what it is that that you would do. But like coming from the enlisted and then the officers, I guess you like a cushion in between the two.
Kind of a way. The big one that we're using in aviation is the easiest example to give us. So the enlisted aren't allowed to fly right now. They're allowed to fly UAVs and stuff like that, but actually being inside the cockpit and going around, they don't do that unless they're in the back doing crew chief work, which is vital and very important, guys. But when it actually comes to the piloting, while we still have the lieutenants, the captains, the colonels, and everybody, majors, they all fly with us. But the bulk of the force is made up by warrant officers. Something like around 80% of our squadron is warrant officers. So, and then that's pretty much expected of. That's what our job is to do, is go out and fly. Whereas the other guys are a little more on the administrative side of the house, the leadership, as far as that goes.
Yeah. So if I could add to it, a great example is Brent and I have been in the Army about the same amount of time. Within that time, I'm a little over 2,000 hours, and he's almost triple that amount of flight time. Where I have only spent maybe about 6 years in tactical units and leadership positions, his entire time as a warrant officer has been at that squadron level. So you have a huge difference in their expertise, just like he talked about in the tactical employment of the helicopter, that he brings and all warrant officers bring to the unit and their ability to execute that mission. So extremely vital to what we do. And different than the other services. But we also have prior enlisted Marines, we have prior enlisted Air Force that are now part of Army Aviation. So they have the same opportunities to apply to go to Warrant Officer Candidate School and become a helicopter pilot in the Army.
Wow. So you just put a smile on my face.
Hey, come join us. We'll get you a Stetson and some Spurs and put you out there and get after it.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So we're going to take a short break after this quick look at the weather. So it's about 75 degrees right now. It's going to be partly cloudy tonight with a low of about 56. Tomorrow's going to be a high of 82, mostly sunny. And Thursday night is going to be mostly clear skies with a low of about 55. And Friday, good old Friday, is going to be a high of 82 and a low of 59.
Looking at gas prices right now, a regular of $2.57, premium of $2.99, and diesel of $2.67.
And I'd also like you to know I check the weather as well for the next 90 days in Hawaii. The high is 81 and the low is 77. Every single day. So eat that up. Along with that, the U.S. dollar right now will get you 1,152 won.
All right. So if you've been entertained by this conversation, stay tuned because we'll be right back after this short break with AFN the Eagle, serving America's best. Right now, and I'm in the studio with Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Martin, 2nd Squadron, 6th Cavalry Regiment Commander, and also CW4 Brent Welsh, and he's a Squadron Senior Warrant Officer. The last break we had, we talked a little bit about the accomplishments here and that these guys have fulfilled, and also the role of a warrant officer. So keep it on that topic. Chief Welsh, what are some jobs that warrant officers can qualify for that they can get?
So the Army, it's got a great opportunity for warrant officers. There's a huge smorgasbord of warrant officers from, you got anything from special forces, new ones starting up like cyber warfare, intel, CID. But the aviation alone has a large opportunity as far as just being, whether it's a pilot or we even have what we call our ground warrants, so our techs. The guys in charge of our tech supply, stuff like that. We have armament warrant officers who are in charge of making sure all of our armament stuff, obviously, as the name implies, that they keep that stuff working real well. And so it's a great opportunities for all those guys. That's in the aviation warrant officer side of the house. That's where a lot of our guys that we get coming from the Air Force, Navy, Marines, when they switch over, that's the primary one that they go to is flying.
Okay. So how long does it take, the warrant officer qualification school? What's it called?
Oh, the Warrant Officer Candidate School?
How long does that usually take?
So you get to go down to lovely Fort Rucker, Alabama for that, as all warrant officers will tell you, I'm sure. The school itself isn't that long. It's kind of based off if you're a prior NCO or not and what kind of schools you have. It's a little shorter if you have that kind of stuff behind you, so I think it's like down to 3 or 4 weeks right now for that. But
not bad at all.
No, not bad at all. No, when you get into the flight school, you're looking at anywhere from a year to 2 years to get that completed, depending on how fast you go through.
So it's based on your speed?
It's a little bit your speed and just luck of the draw. So a lot of times they used to have a thing called the bubble, which there's just too many people down there. So kind of you get in between courses and you have a backlog and waiting. A lot of that they got rid of now, so it goes a lot smoother. And with a little bit of downsizing the Army, it's a little less people going through, so it's making a little more smooth transition to go through that course as well.
Okay. So with that being said, what opportunities are warrant officers afforded during this deployment or previous deployments? What kind of opportunities do you guys see?
So our warrant officers over here, the opportunity they had that I think really helps out a lot as opposed to being back in garrison, back in Hawaii, or on combat deployments, is the opportunity of schooling. And it's not just our warrant officers, our enlisted guys are really taking advantage of this as well. I think last time I checked, over half of our warrant officers are currently enrolled in college and getting that stuff done. It's a nice thing. You go out, you go fly for a while, do your job, come home, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing where you have your family, but you don't have that here. So now, what do you do? And a lot of the guys are taking the opportunity to step it up and complete their educations.
So, so it's not like an officer where you have to have a college degree before you can become a warrant officer?
No. So when you first start out as a warrant officer, no college education is required. It's definitely an advantage. It helps you get picked up. But as you go along, they kind of look at it as they want you to get your education, but it's not mandatory.
It's encouraged.
It's highly encouraged, yep. And it'll help you out with promotion later on down the road.
Okay. So Colonel, how many warrant officers do you have in your squadron?
In our squadron of about 360 people that we have over here, we have just short of 90 warrant officers. So you can see close to a third of our squadron are warrant officers, and they fill a lot of roles. Brent that's here today is our squadron senior warrant officer, but he's also the senior instructor pilot. We have safety officers that are at each one of our troops. We also have maintainers. They're the primary maintenance test pilots that are out there doing the maintenance on the aircraft, ensuring that they're safe and ready to go fly. We have tactical operations, or now they're called aviation mission survivability officers, that focus on the tactical employment of the aircraft, the threat that is out there, and the potential to shoot down aircraft. So those are just some of the what we call career tracks that those warrant officers can do within the squadron that are really vital back to that tactical and technical expertise that they bring to our ability to get after the mission.
So is it every squadron that comes here deployed, they all have the same amount of people, or they all have the same billets filled?
They do. So we are the third rotational squadron, and the fourth one that has just arrived actually on Monday. Their torch party just got here, and they are the exact same as us. So the Army has an MTO that establishes the number of people, aircraft, and mission. So each one of the rotational squadrons that come through have all been the same.
Okay. So with that being said, what is some advice that you would have for the next people in the 6-6?
I think the advice that I would give probably is the same for all the listeners out there, and get out and experience the culture. We put some additional requirements on our soldiers while here. I mean, the training side, that's a commander's business, and we're going to take care of that. But what I really wanted a soldier to do is go and get some of those life experiences that Korea has to offer. So we had a requirement of every soldier had to go to the JSA while they were here and go see really the reason that we're here and that amazing piece of terrain that is unique to Korea. I've encouraged people to go out and travel. We've had everybody from Seoul to Busan, and then we've taken a lot of trips just throughout the region. Had people in Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, China, taking those 4-day weekends, and rather than staying right there on the camp, take a look and put together a package, a group of people to go and take a 3-day, 4-day pass and experience the benefit of being on this side of the planet that is no longer a 20-hour flight to come over here and experience. So that's the absolute advantage of being in Korea. This is my second tour here, and truly still some of my greatest life memories were those kind of things that I did the first time that I encouraged the people in the squadron to do this time.
So is there anything that you missed out on that you wish you had done?
Yeah, I mean, just like every soldier, airman, and Marine, I wish I had more time off to go do some of those things. There's still always things on the table that I didn't get a chance to go snow skiing or snowboarding this time, and there's definitely not going to have a chance when I get back to Hawaii. So, wish I'd gone and done that in the East Coast, especially that the future Olympics is going to be there and seeing what's out there. Wish I got out to the Mud Festival. Got to experience some of that culture. Didn't get down to Busan and see the beaches down there either. So, it's an entire country that has amazing opportunities, and it would be easy to come over on a 9-month tour and never put on a uniform and just enjoy the country and what it has to offer. But fortunately, we got some training objectives to get to as well.
I was about to say, I wish they would do that.
Yeah.
9 months. Just go hang out for 9 months.
Oh, yeah.
So what about you, Chief?
I think all the stuff I did while I was here. Went down to Jeju. I did have the opportunity to go snowboarding, so I really enjoyed that. I didn't think any of this stuff was going to happen. We were told you're going on deployment, and that comes with those negative connotations, thinking it's going to be, or oriented on your job, and that's it. So the only things I regret is all those things that he was talking about that I didn't get to do. You know, the China trips, the Vietnam trips, the more sporting events up in Seoul. There's all kinds of stuff that I wish I would have had more time to go do. But some guys make us work real hard.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to go see America's Pastime Korea version, it's humbling to see how enthusiastic they are about baseball compared to a Major League Baseball game.
They have cheerleaders.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Many of them.
Cheerleaders. That's awesome. All right, so we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back around 2:45 in a couple minutes. But after this short message, we'll be back with some Shakira, and also some Sam Hunt and Franz Ferdinand. So keep it locked right here on AFN The Eagle. It's 2:45 right now, and that was AWOL Nation with Sail. And I see that you guys are part of the cavalry. So go ahead and can you explain it to someone like me who has no clue what cavalry is?
Well, it is a little bit like the movies. It's the old school Stetson hats that we wear, black Stetson. It does have spurs involved. What has changed over the years is we don't ride horses too often anymore. You know, our steeds of today is that cavalry vehicle, and for us, it's that Kiowa Warrior that we fly. The cavalry mission hasn't changed since it started, and that is to be the reconnaissance and security for the force. We started off by putting them on horses so they had greater flexibility, greater speed in order to go do the reconnaissance forward of the main body, to be on that screen, protecting that main body force, and it hasn't changed. That's why we do it today from the helicopters, have that mobility to be able to see the entire battlefield, to identify the threat before it's there. But I'll tell you, what it means to me, somebody that's served a long time, and, Brent here has been in more cavalry squadrons than I have, but what it means to me is history and tradition. The squadron that we're in, the 6th Cavalry Regiment, has been around since 1861. It's got names like Pancho Villa, like Teddy Roosevelt, that is part of our history. And, as we say, you don't sing many songs about other units, but you definitely hear some songs about the history and tradition of the cavalry. So we're really proud of that. The red and white flags that you see mean something to us, the Stetsons that we wear. We have a program of progression to where you have to earn your spurs, because in the olden days we didn't give new recruits spurs because they would only make the horse that much harder to control if they didn't know what they were doing. And that hasn't changed today. You got to know your profession when you're in the cavalry. You got to know how to maintain. You have to know how to fly. And once you've proven that, and also once you've proven that respect for what it means to be in a unit that has that kind of history, then you will earn your spurs. And for a cavalryman, there's nothing more treasured than that.
So how long is the process of earning the spurs?
That can be a fun event for people who've never done it before. It's usually you're looking about a full day to up to 2.5, 3 days of nonstop, not going to get any sleep events. A lot of times it's moved towards soldiering, basic soldiering skills, long road marches, and a little bit of fun with it too. Usually, so you usually have the guys who are the spur holders, or are the ones running it, and the guys got to, first of all, they want to do it, and it takes a lot of intestinal fortitude to go through a full up spur ride.
So, is it what uniform do you wear the spurs and the Stetsons?
We wear them in any form that we're allowed. So it is a little bit outside of the Army regulation and what we're allowed to do. Those local regulations allow it. For our organization, we wear our Stetsons on Friday. So in our normal, fatigue type uniform, we'll also always wear it as part of our dress uniform. So for military balls, dining ins, dining outs, we'll have those on there, and spurs accompany it. And then also, it is part of our uniform for any ceremony. So any awards ceremony, awards formations, we will have our Stetsons and spurs on. So in a few weeks, on October 13th, when we do our transition of authority with the incoming, and it's a sister squadron, we're a 2nd Squadron, 6th Cavalry. The ones coming in are known as the 6 shooters because they are 6th Squadron, 6th Cavalry. So on that ceremony, we'll all have our Stetsons on. Those that have earned their spurs will be wearing their spurs out there, and we will gladly pass on the responsibility of maintaining the armistice and readiness to another cavalry squadron in that way.
That's awesome. So speaking of earning spurs, or earning, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Earn things. Okay, so do you have any shout-outs? I was trying to make the transition smooth, but it just didn't want to come out.
Well, we definitely have some cavalrymen that have earned more than just their spurs over here in their performance. And You know, I could probably stand here for the next 20 or 30 minutes and list about 350 of them that have absolutely earned it every day that they've been here. But really, it's the soldiers that make our squadron successful. What I have told people out there is we cannot do it unless every single person shows up and does their job. No one is more important than the other, and that includes me and Brent. You know, I can't go fly an aircraft if I don't have a crew chief that's maintaining it to the standard, if I don't have a fueler that can keep it topped off with gas. So, you know, to highlight some of those guys, we got some armament dogs is what we call them, those guys that like to sling rockets and ammo around and then fix our electrical system. And we got some great ones down there in Desperados, guys like Brown and Bishop, McGill, Stone that's out there, and Reddick. Our commo shop has worked tirelessly, you know, the accounts that it takes to create over here, and personally keeping my printer running itself is a full-time job for guys like Dees and Aragon, and our favorite softball manager, Specialist Jones, out there does a great job. So we could go on for quite a few hours, but really proud of the soldiers and what they've accomplished here in the last 9 months.
That's awesome. And on that note, we're going to slide right into the weather right now. It's currently 75 degrees. It's going to be a low of about 56 and passing clouds later on tonight. Tomorrow's going to be mainly sunny with a high of 81 and clear skies Thursday night with a low of 55. And Friday, excuse me, not Saturday, skipping a day. Friday is going to be mainly sunny skies with a high of 81 and mostly clear skies Friday night, which is clearing up your day to go out and have fun on the town.
And for your gases to roll around town, you're looking at $2.57 for a gallon of regular gas, $2.99 for premium, and $2.67 for diesel.
You take that $1 US, go down and get yourself 1,152 won.
All right, gentlemen. Hey, I really appreciate you guys coming out, and it's been very informative. I wish I could wear some spurs. Can I come out on one of you guys' exhibitions where you earn the spurs?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
We just pinned a set on our Air Force weather officer that we have attached to our squadron, so more than welcome to have you there. Anybody that believes in the history.
Can I get a Stetson too, or is it just the spurs?
Nope, you can get a Stetson. We'll gladly break it in for you the right way.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna keep y'all up to that word. So coming up after the short break, we got some Walk the Moon. They will be carrying into the 3 o'clock hour. So keep it locked right here on AFN the Eagle with